Good evening. The Department of Homeland Security has announced a major policy update. Officially, the strength enhanced streamline operations for Gucci Foundations with federal and local partners. We'll bring you more details as they emerge.
Also in the news today, Trump's tariffs and are they working? Who's talking about it? And why many Americans are feeling relief. Back to you, Linda.
Thank you, Ben. You know, David Not Callie does allow call-in or text-ins to the show, and we will talk about any topic you want. Is there anything you want to add, Ben?
Yep, it's going to be a great show. But first, a shout out to our biggest supporter in the comments. Nancy Dunks, always here is Richard, Andrew Bosniak, Stoneringer, AC Cruz, and of course, we can't forget Lisette Taylor. Now to the show.
Thank you, Ben, for remembering our supporters. Okay, it's time. Let's go to Dave, Not and Callie.
Yo, it's Dave. Yes, I left Callie behind. The Dave, Not and Callie show, one of a kind. Sundays, 5 p.m. Central, truth you can. That's for more real people, real talk. Tune in, we'll explore.
Hey, like my new intro?
It looks pretty good, Dave.
Yeah, well, you know, I figure I need to keep up on this AI crap, so I don't fall behind. So I've been messing with it, since I'm not working. The house is done. I'm actually looking for work again, just so I can stay busy. But consequently, I spend a lot of time messing around with these programs to see what they can and can't do, and it's kind of amazing, but it's frightening at the same time too. You can take a simple meme and turn it in to a little short video. Let me show you this one. Just for example, this was a cartoon, like what you would get at just a single picture type meme. And I threw it into AI and kind of told it I wanted it to do this or that. And then this is what it did. Here.
Hands off the cartels! Leave them!
Wait a minute. How come that one's... Hang on.
Alone! Don't arrest pedophiles! No justice! No peace! Request act warning! Who record you be detained! Hands off the cartels! Leave the drug smuggler alone! Don't arrest pedophiles!
We're sorry, we had it wrong. It's not you guys, it's us twisting reality. Because we hate Trump!
So actually that was, that last part. I just typed that in there and said, hey, make them say this, and AI did the rest. So it's kind of crazy what you can do. But
I toyed with it a little bit myself, and it's just a few little bits and pieces here and there. But yeah, there's William.
Hey, William. Oh, well, since William's here, we got to show this little thing I made for him.
Federal agents arrested Don Lemon, Traeherne Cruz, Georgia Fort, and Jamail Lundy in connection with the attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Update! They let all those fuckers go. The ones connected to the attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Son of a bitch.
I didn't get that one. Did I put? I shared it, but it didn't have all that. Did you make a new one?
Well, I just added that after I found out that they let everybody go.
Oh, yeah. They did let everybody go.
Yeah. So I was telling John, I said, I'm actually looking to go back to work. So I've been running these ads and so forth because I have nothing to do. The house is done. We're not traveling right now. And so I've had a lot of time to mess with these AI programs to see what they all different ones do and so forth. And at the same time, it's kind of scary, what they can do. So yeah. I don't know. You missed the intro there. I threw did a little bit of AI in the intro.
What's up, Richard? Yeah, I was
Hey, Richard.
7:30. At 7:30, I was still working in my building on another motor I just bought, and I was trying to get it running, and it was almost running. It would crank up, but not do quite right, and so I kept on and on and on. And I finally gave up after I hurt my hand trying to crank it. So I was like, I'm going inside. It was like 7:37, so I had to. So I'm running a little late.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So. So, John, let me switch this over here. Put this on. Got to do the little switcheroo here. Yeah, I noticed that when you do share screen and you have your own videos, they get kind of locked. One won't show unless you remove, completely remove it. So, John, what's this? You posted this on your channel.
She slides ballots into a scanning machine, moves the ballots, and then reinserts the same ballots. This happens multiple times. The question is, how many times were those ballots counted? Was each vote counted more than once?
So
this is Georgia.
Isn't it what I heard? Like they found like 17,000 uncounted or fraudulent.
It's what they've had. We've already known this pretty much. This information. This is pretty much going over what they have now in custody, because the powers to be in Georgia, they hooked everything up. They stopped us from getting to that. In other words, Raffensperger, he's blocked everything. They did everything they could. All of a sudden, here comes the DOJ with the FBI. Boom, all that stuff. The first problem they've had was it there? Did they get rid of it? They didn't get rid of it. They have it all, and they know what's coming for it. So they're just you can see in all the little interviews that they're giving that they're sweating it out. They literally are sweating it out. So, this is the safest election in history, yada, yada, yada. No.
Yeah. So I'm gathering they kind of snuck up on him, or, like they really didn't know this was coming down the pike.
They kept, by not talking about this in Congress or the Senate with a lot of these items that they're talking about, they're keeping the minimum to leaks. And there were no leaks on this. It just happened. And that's what they're kind of like caught with their pants down. And naturally, they're going to go to block. The first block that they tried was with trying to think of his name. He's a congressman from Republican from Florida. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Well, he's kind of like a bad apple himself. Well, they're trying to put that on, investigate him along with Ilhan Omar. In that particular instance. So in other words, they're trying to push the narrative all around to keep things off of this. But there's no way that they're going to get away from it, because they have the exact answers that we all knew about before, which are actual evidence that thousands of these, there's well more than 11,000 Trump needed, to win Georgia. The same problem is happening.
Isn't that close to what he needed? Actually, it's more. What they found is more than what he needed.
Well, there's 300,000. There's 300,000 total that are legitimately no good. They don't have a signature to go with them, or they're just point blank bogus.
Way more, yeah.
Right.
But I heard that
so it's
exactly 17,000 unaccounted.
Yeah, that
like they weren't counted on purpose because they were. Yeah. Probably.
I believe it's only 11,000 some odd number that they needed to just to be point blank for Trump to win, and there's, like I said, there's over 300,000. So, and we all know what had happened with that, but they've got everything else. Same thing with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's got their tit in the ringer too. They're talking right now about the two states that would push them over the top would be Pennsylvania and Georgia. So they can, and even then they haven't touched. Well, California probably going to find much out, because I guarantee they've got all that stuff. They've burned all that paperwork. But no, it's getting to be too deep for them. Too deep.
Yeah. Well, and of course, this is kind of really old stuff. I mean, even if we can prove it,
it's old, but it's new. It's old, but it's new. That particular video there, along with some of the other videos, is something that we have at. That's actually evidence that we're talking about. That it's talking about there.
Right.
And this evidence is now what we have. This now that it's in the hands of the FBI, the DOJ. This is not Biden's DOJ or FBI. They've got to go with what they've got. So there's now it's turned into evidence, and now these past videos are coming back to the surface. So refreshes everybody's memory on just exactly how bad it was. from 11,000 to 300,000.
So the bottom line is, so this is going to help bolster the idea that we need to do something about our election process, especially in Arizona or in Georgia, or the places where it was really questioned heavily.
Well, they're still fighting. They're still fighting the
do. I mean, you can say, "Oh, look, this happened," and that maybe there might be some people you can still arrest, but it still doesn't change the outcome. We should have been able to change and stop what happened right after it happened, or within weeks of it happening, and we didn't. It's being censored. Everybody was being, shut up. You can't talk about it. And eventually it got so old there was nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's like waiting till the last week of the Biden administration and saying, "Okay, we're kicking you out." You know what I mean? Wasn't going to happen. So.
Yeah. Well, the January 6th peaceful protest was actually moving along pretty good. I do recall that evening that was taking place, and listening to people like Ted Cruz and several other very key senators at the time that were like, you know what, something's not right. And just like clockwork, that's when all the hijacking started taking place. If our government had not have ran that color revolution during that time, I think that we would be in a lot better place. I believe they would have went back and looked to see, take a look at the actual voter fraud itself, did more of an in-depth recount, and started to look at things. But it was wild, because as soon as that all went down, Ashley Babbitt was unalived. I was like, well, they're going to finish, but it won't be tonight. There's no way. That's a crime scene. Your crime scenes, you can't disturb the area because there needs to be critical evidence taking place. However, we've learned otherwise, not only with Ashley Babbitt, but with Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump. Whenever a really serious crime took place where Donald Trump almost lost his life, but Charlie Kirk lost his life, like within hours, you had people already cleaning up the scene, getting ready for the next show. And that's not an accident, by the way. So that whole thing tripped me out when I was like, wow, they're actually back in session at midnight. They've got the crime scene, quote unquote, roped off with everybody maneuvering around in there. And immediately all the senators that were going to look into this, their tune changed. They got a big stern talking to and wherever they were off hidden off. And they were watching on, closed circuit, seeing all this happen, and they had an emotional reaction to it. That was the time and it was making a really good difference. But in the government got what they needed out of it. They got Biden in. They got the area flooded with illegals. That's part of the Cloward and Piven. You heard of this term before, Dave? Cloward and Piven strategy?
No, tell me about it.
If you ever,
John, you've heard of it before, right?
No, not really.
Are you pronouncing it right?
Yeah, because it's actually the names of two individuals, the last names, and these were the pioneers and social activist attorneys. I've heard Alex on InfoWars use that term when he's given it a comparison as to what we're headed and how we got there. He goes, "This is all Cloward and Piven strategy." And these two individuals, by the way, got their start back in the early '80s by like massive propaganda and the flooding. I can pull up a video of it. I'll do that here in a little bit.
Okay. Why don't you do that? I'm going to answer Andrew, because apparently he missed earlier when we kind of talked about it. But the reason why Don Lemon got released is because of his history. He went to court there in California. That's where he lives. They didn't feel that he was a flight risk. All the normal things that, like, if I were to get arrested, the same thing would happen. You know, they probably release.
Yeah, what happened to them is what they got normal justice treatment. Now J6 people got not normal justice treatment.
Right,
but
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, there's a difference there, but in all actuality,
however, they did do one thing. They pulled his passport. They made him surrender his passport. So I mean,
you know, they didn't do that whenever that was when that computer guy that worked for the Israel government got caught up in that child diddling ring. They didn't pull his passport. He went straight to Israel. Remember that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
But no bail yet, Andrew says. Well, you know, it's like they wanted to put 100,000 on it, but the judge said no. That he's not a flight risk. Let him out on an OR, which is standard procedure, especially in California.
Yeah, it's really
cognizance.
You know, I'm only concerned at what happens in the end. You know, I think he'll be charged. He's charged in.
I hope he is. Yeah.
Well, he's charged in Minneapolis, isn't he?
Probably.
Yes. He's charged in Minneapolis. Yes.
Court in California.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing because most of Minneapolis is actually conservative. Just the small areas in the cities are the ones that are kind of real leftist. And so if he goes in front of an actual jury trial, if he doesn't take a plea bargain, then he probably just might catch the L on this one because that's happened before Minneapolis, where they thought that, you know, because the people there are pretty conservative. And and so, you know, more likely
Andrew says not to hold your breath.
Let me see here. What in the world is this thing wanting?
Yeah.
Okay. I found the videos. So this is something this is very interesting. And it's not very long, but if you've ever listened to InfoWars, anything Alex Jones, he'll go to this reference quite often. And there's a reason for that. These were the pioneers and all that. There and all. Where are we at? Let me see. Dave. Is this it?
Convictions of armed robbery and
wait. No. Wait a minute. No, hold on a second.
Well, are we on the wrong one?
No, I just didn't do it right. I screwed it up.
You clicked mine.
I did. I did. So I got a poop. I've got a poop coming on. I'll have to go take a doo-doo. Oh, here it is. Oh, I got it up. Okay, I think I screwed it up again. I must all just forgive me, guys. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to. I just got to restart it here and get.
The Cloward-Piven strategy was developed by Richard Cloward and Francis Piven in the 1960s. It outlines a strategy for radical social change by way of using the system to the point of destruction.
We were associated with the social work tradition, which said that the programs worked as they were supposed to work. But they didn't work as they were supposed to work. And it was out of that realization, that insight, that we developed the strategy to end poverty, which called for a massive mobilization of social workers and lawyers and organizers to get people the benefits to which they were entitled. We were proposing a kind of movement that demanded what people were already entitled to by law, by regulation, by propaganda.
The primary goal of the Cloward-Piven strategy is to create a political and economic crisis that would destroy capitalism and lead to the implementation of a socialist system with a guaranteed income. The strategy involves enrolling large numbers of people into the welfare system, as many people as it takes to overwhelm and strain the system until it collapses. Everyone enrolled into the welfare system is also used as an army to carry out the destruction of the current system. They are registered to vote and instructed on how to vote. They are organized and mobilized and made to appear as grassroots organizations demanding more from the system. The ideal outcome of the Cloward-Piven strategy is to collapse the current system. According to their theory, this will compel the government to implement a universal basic income, which would then shift the U.S. towards a more socialist system with increased government control over the economy. Everyone is being encouraged to do it. Burn it down is the new sexy ring. In high school, they compare it to the American Revolution.
The Cloward-Piven strategy is a political gambit designed to overwhelm the American government by placing so many demands on the bureaucratic structure that it collapses. It's sort of a shock and awe campaign, a surprise attack on entrenched systems meant to force major changes to the ways that things are handled by the government. It may be messy, but it does harken back to a fundamental ideology of the American Republic. If it ain't fixed, break it.
All of this explains the likes of AOC.
What people like AOC are doing, what the squad is doing, is really very important, very important. But at the same time, there is this movement which is so big. Some people say it's the biggest movement in American history. It's hard to know because it's hard to measure a movement, but it is big and it is interracial and it penetrates into every small town. I now am in upstate New York. The town I'm closest to has maybe 2,000 people. You know, we have little demonstrations in front of the post office for Black Lives Matter. And this is Trump country. Nevertheless, there is a Black Lives Matter demonstration. So it's a very potent and important moment in American political development. And we have to make the most of it, because if we don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be good.
Got to make the most of it. Yeah, well, you know, the thing that I have a hard time with is who and what behind the push to more socialistic, communistic thing. Why? Who benefits from that?
Oh, the globalists do.
Okay, so they grow old and they die. Somebody moves up. So is it only the wealthy that end up being at the top? Like the top?
Yeah, exactly.
Not even 1%.
Yes.
It would be like the top 0.03%. You know.
Exactly. Yes. That's now you're onto something. You're starting to see it. Yes. Oh, it's my wife. Hey, babe. Yeah. Now you're cooking with gas there, and you're thinking, well, man, these people aren't going to be around very much longer to see it come to fruition if they do. But you've got to remember, Dave, they have this plan that they're going to live forever, one way or another. Either it's going to be through the ability to genetically modify themselves to where they don't age anymore or age in reverse, or they'll figure out a way to upload their conscious to a digital system that will forever be intact, you know, and you know, some of these people actually, just like, you know, I was out in my building at just 24 degrees or 21 degrees, might be colder than that. I'm trying to get an old throttled governor LA engine running, you know, because I like doing that. These people like screwing with stuff like that. Like I like messing in that building. So this is also a passion for some odd reason, which goes back to that thing I was talking to along the last week when I went into that deep dive about what exactly are we dealing with? Are we dealing with normal humans? Are we dealing with something that's been crossbred with some kind of DNA that takes humanity out of their soul, out of their being, so that they're not actually functioning humans? You know, what are we dealing with here? Because normal humans don't do stuff like that. So they've, you know, it's demonic, but it's also, are we walking amongst some sort of human alien hybrid? You know, just thinking.
Yeah. Well, it just makes me stop and think about, well, what is the gain and for who, and what does it do for them, or is it more of just because we want to control everything? Is it more of a controlling thing? I just
Well,
don't
I mean,
understand it.
think about this. This is no different than in the old days when we had empires, you know, basically humanity was under this kind of situation, but they just didn't have technology. And as people progressed in a thinking process, what really turned the corner for a lot of people was Christianity. That opened the door for people to actually care about another person enough to where they didn't want to control somebody and allowed them to have freedom. No, Christianity did that, and that you look at when that was introduced to society as it became wider spread and more accepted, you can actually see an ascension in society more towards a humanistic way. And there's a large group of people who lost control over something that they had for so long, and these people aren't around now, but they had family lineage. And rednecks will go run over the neighbor because he did something to it, his sister, and in vengeance for her. And these people have sort of a similar thing. They look back and they go, okay, we need to reconvene our organized power, but we got a lot of people in the world. There's been years of people that's been free, so we've got to figure out how to control these people and let these people allow us to do it. And that's part of the fun for it too. Like I said earlier, like screwing with this kind of stuff. That's what they like doing. And you can't mess with somebody like that because we like being free and just doing stuff. We don't really care about controlling people. And there's a lot of money to be made out of it too. Lots of money doesn't always equal being a real nice person. A lot of times to get lots of money, you got to be kind of an asshole. Yeah. Andrew said, I'm redneck. Yeah. But so I mean, the end game for these people, it basically is just that. So when they say atheists and all this stuff, these people aren't atheists, by the way, Dave. A lot of these people are hooked on esoteric, satanic ritual style of life, and a lot of the times, they're how they see
how that happens too, because people get into this kind of eliteness, and then they kind of get off onto kind of derailed, and they go towards these symbolism things and psychics and
you have to
into the mystics and stuff like that.
Well, you kind of have to. You really do. You can't be this super elite with all this money and power and not
get involved in all that crap.
I mean, because like if you don't get involved in all that, you're going to have compassion. Your compassion starts to become a thing, and compassion means like you start giving stuff away. You start exactly, and then that takes away from your
that doesn't work for the rest of them.
So
then the rest of them you have to down on you, and all of a sudden you won't be as well off as you were because they'll make sure of it. Right.
Yep. I'll be right back. I gotta go.
You gotta make sure you're part of the club. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I gotta go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna show this thing here and see what she's talking about here. Got to go to that tab. There we go.
When this is all over and Trump is gone and Democrats are back in charge and we're rebuilding everything, the punishment for MAGA for voting Trump 3 times needs to be that they lose their internet access for 4 years, that they cannot post videos or comments on social media for 4 straight years, so that none of us are subjected to their lies and misinformation while we are rebuilding the chaos that they caused. The whole world and America gets to be without their BS online for 4 straight years. Can we all agree to this?
Man. So I look at that and I'm going, when she's describing all the chaos and the lies and stuff, I'm thinking, oh, she's talking about Democrats. And all these things that are going on that, that are the chaos, which it seems like most of the Democrats are creating. And yet she's throwing it on to the MAGA. Like, oh, the MAGAs, we're not the ones out protesting ICE and starting fights and burning things down. And, where's the chaos in the MAGA movement? I don't see it. They tried to make it like, oh, well, January 6th. But, I just don't
We
buy
still
it.
have that. We still have the real January 6th coming up as far as what happened. We still have that. Still, everything is still on the boiler burner, so to speak, waiting to come up with who's next on this, that, or the other, because we still need something done about Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Schumer, all of them. Something needs to be done for what they did to this country, because they've got all the information now. We've got the DOJ, and it's like something you and I talked about before we went on the air. Is that I myself, I'm all the way for Trump. Everything, let the guy do what he's got to do. However, time is running out. If we lose this midterm, that's it. There is no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. It's over. Now, I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying that. I've been going on for 5 years. I've been hanging in there along with everybody else. If we do not win this, it's over. They're going to pull every trick in the book, even though they've been caught. Look at everything that everything is wide open now. The Epstein files are out there. We've got the Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County election. We've got all this stuff coming out now in Michigan. Excuse me, in Minnesota with the fraud. And the fraud now is exploding now in California now. And it's in New York. It's all over the place. Everything is, by the time June comes around, everything pretty much that the the Democrats have done to this country with thievery, with the fraud, all that stuff's going to be out on the table, just waiting for a judge and a jury. And I repeat the usage of the word waiting, just like we have been. We're all sick and tired of this. And God bless Pam Bondi and, all the rest of them, but they've got to give us something now. And we don't want a small fish. We need somebody big. Don Lemon, I could care less about.
We'll take one big fish or give us a bunch of little fish, but one or the other.
They need to give. They've got to do something. They've got to do something. The public has got to be appeased, because with all this going on, they continue to do it. And even then, Omar, she just disrespected America just in a short speech he gave the other day. She damned America. It's just the point of you don't do this.
You would think that if we had common sense people, they would see, that something's up with her and how she became a millionaire. And one of the things is we're not allowed to probe her because of her position. But so now they're going to go after her husband, but as a way of looking at their finances. But when the hell did we say that we can't probe into our elected officials just because they're serving at the moment? If they're doing something wrong, they're doing something wrong.
I'm in perfect agreement that we need to do something against the character of the Republican Party. We need to do something against MAGA. In other words, against what we've been doing. We've been patient. We've been waiting. And every time that we wait, the first I wouldn't call a slap in the face. The first punch in our jaw came with Virginia, with the house with the two houses from Trish James. No, let's issue James. No. That should never have ever gone the way it's still up in the air. It's still not done yet, but still it is floating. In other words, it's like they got a settlement out of it. They didn't get a settlement out. They got it brushed off to the side. This is a criminal offense. This needs to go to front of a judge and a jury. But they did that. That let us know that they're not going to back off. All these people in high positions are going to be backed up by whatever, and we're just going to come out. I talked to you about this before. I'm not for it, but now I am. Martial law. Because let's put it this way.
Like I was,
I'll give you my reason. I'll give you my quick reason on this real fast.
Right.
Okay. You and I talked about this, and they said, oh, yeah, a lot of people in America are going to be good and pissed off, and the Democrats are going to love it to death. Now we've got our kingmaker. We've got the king. We have our, we've got Trump out there. He's going to be the president for the rest of his life, for the next 100 years. Everything that they wanted, we're handing them on a silver platter. However, what we've got to realize also, too, handing on a silver platter, there are going to be 25, possibly 26 judges, all belonging to the military, that are going to be making all the decisions. So all the bills and everything that we can get passed with the military tribunal get passed and make it enacted into law. So the Democrats, should they ever even have a chance of getting back at things, will not be able to undo what we've done. In other words, that's what I'm looking at. We've got to do something to save the country. You just can't. For 5 years, and it keeps coming out the same stuff. We knew about this 5 years ago, like with Fulton County. We knew about this 5 years ago.
The crazy thing is, I hear you saying this. Oh, we got to do something to save the country. And then I also see the left saying the exact same thing you're saying. And so if you step back out of the situation for a moment and you say, well, gee, they're saying the same thing, but they're against each other. So, So, if you went for martial law, they would have a field day because that's what they want him to do, because then they can prove that he's a fascist and he's a dictator and, he wants to be king, all the things that they've been accusing him of. If he throws martial law, that's what's going to happen. Now, you would have to break out and have like Antifa type protests and street wars going on to justify the martial law and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be so justifiable that you can't deny it. But if you were doing,
you don't think what's going on in Watts right now in California?
Just because we have
look at what's going on,
ain't gonna cut it.
Let's put it this way: for what's been going on in Minnesota, definitely should have brought out the military, without a doubt. There's no way that you have one man standing in front of a building operated by ICE, one man fending off all these people. There's no police around them. There's no National Guard around them. And even with the rest of them, they have no powers. That is absolutely crazy. That is an insurrection. Insurrections need force.
Okay, now let's back up.
Okay.
When you have your federal property, you should know this. The federal property is not in the jurisdiction of the local PD, believe it or not. Each property is controlled by the federal government. So if somebody were to call and say, hey, we got this and this, sorry, that's not our jurisdiction. Technically, they can say that. Now, the public.
Okay, now wait, hold on. Let me hold you right. Let me hold you now on something technical. Okay. The street in front of that building, in front of the federal building,
well, that's what I was saying,
belongs to the city or the state of Minnesota. Right. Therefore, it is the police department's jurisdiction. It is also the National Guard's jurisdiction. So, in other words, point blank is they need to be protected. Look what's going on in Watts right now in California. They are torching that place to death right now. They haven't even gotten there yet. And it's unbelievable. I believe that Mayor Bowser set something off again because she's been talking smack about that. This can't go on. This can't go on.
California just loves to burn anything, for any reason. So,
I know.
It's like, because I'm originally from there, you kind of get immune to some of that crap that's going on. It's just like, okay. And sometimes I say, okay, if South Central wants to burn themselves to the ground, let them have at it.
Okay,
then
Dave, let me
the Palisades. After it's done, we'll bulldozer everything out and we'll put in high-rise hotels or something. I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a real quick question. All right, here we come up to November, okay? All of a sudden, November, just enough ballots are fixed, just enough gets across the board, And all of a sudden, the Democrats now control Congress and they control the Senate. You know what's coming next. So therefore, Trump is a lame duck president. He's not going to get anything through or anything. It's over with.
Right.
How do we come back from that? We don't.
We're going to have a major something happen to really convince the rest of the middle of the roader, middle of the fencers that something's really been awry on the Democratic side, which it has been. But there's so many Democrats.
You don't think they don't know it now?
Well,
you don't think they don't know it now?
Yeah, but we have to. Everything just seems like it's accusations, and finger pointing.
There comes a time for action. There comes a time for action, Dave.
I know.
That was the time
we
for
need to start arresting people and showing why they got arrested. Show what they're being. The problem is right now everybody's tiptoeing around because they're afraid that it's going to look like political persecution. That's what they're afraid of.
I'm fine with that. I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. I think that's why they're tiptoeing. I'd say go after them, get it done. Yeah, they're not doing it. Any time going after Trump. I mean, really, come on. They went flat out, full tilt after Trump. So
they still are because
they're gonna watch Pam Bondi arrest Trump. That'd be funny. You want you to arrest Pam Bondi, arrest Trump whenever the Democrats take over? I'll be like, look at that right there. See, there you go. You got you one. MAGA, get your big arrest there, don't you? Be like, damn. But no, that's real. That's reality. I mean, got to.
Hey, there's Dennis Dump. I haven't seen Dennis in a minute. He hasn't been around
Dennis,
for a while.
what's going on, man?
Dennis?
Yeah, good to see you, dude. Yeah, the people have all political power and guaranteed a republic form of government and not a democracy. No, I know exactly. We're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
Yep.
Yeah, they keep repeating that because they want us to forget about the fact that we are a constitutional republic. Because and when they say our democracy, just remember this.
I know that drives me nuts too. But
our means like there's like they're in our house and like this. My wife and I, that doesn't mean you're. When they're a threat to our democracy, that means the power structure that they have. They just want They say our because they're trying. People think that they're just being relatable to the people. It's like no, they're talking about their democracy. The people that's behind that podium back there. That's what we are a threat to. And I wish the leftists would just be like, y'all are a threat to their democracy. That's what they need to say. But thing is we've got a serious mind virus. Because of trying to figure how I can say this quickly, but a very layered and intricate, put together system of societal engineering has been played out, and we're right now watching it as the kind of like a hot bulb on an old oil engine. You got to heat the cylinder head up so it'll fire off that oil. It takes a while. So meanwhile, while they're engineering society, heating up that bubble, we've recently watched them spin that flywheel, and now that bubble is hot enough that oil is going to fire off on that hot metal, and then take off and run on its own. That's where we're at. We're in that stage of societal engineering over the years. Now, I mean years. I'm talking about. Gosh, I mean, the new version of it. Society's always been engineered for several different ways and several methods, but man, the real push for the power structure to regain its endowment over humans, like they did back in the Roman eras, is we're headed into that. But now with technology, that's just going to be kind of weird. But they've really worked hard with television shows and music. And education has been a big player so far as getting people acclimated to the fact that this is the new way to act, and it's not for you. But anyhow, it's like we're reaching that point. That engine's now running, on its own, and the only way to shut it off is to pull the fuel. If you don't, it's going to stay running, and it's going to get faster and faster. Theoretically, pulling the fuel away from the engine does turn it off, but in this sense, could cause for catastrophic, peerless victory. If we defeat these people, they just so happen to have all their hands and all the levers that make it was not an accident that they put everything together so that it relied on something else behind. In other words, our food source, our electrical source, our water source, everything we don't have any control over that anymore. Nobody's growing food at their house. Nobody's got a well hardly. I got one, but a lot of people don't now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And so, whenever, if we come to the point where they give up because their system isn't, we're not accepting it, then they'll just, they pull these strings and then everything falls.
Let's see what this doomsday guy is. Kind of like saying Trump's got to hit the go button. Oh, wrong one.
I think many Americans are coming to the realization of truth. And it's simply this: without Canada and Mexican support, the United States of America would be a third world country. I think many Americans are coming to the realization of truth. And it's simply this: without Canada and Mexican support, the United States of America would be a third world country. I think many
Right. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. I don't. No. We've had enough Mexican support as it's been already. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what it is too is the only reason why the United States struggles is because of bureaucracy implemented to make us weak. The rules when it comes to how you operate business and all the things that they've implemented so that they, to make the United States a more greener and cleaner country so that we could lead the way so far as climate change, which is all another, like I say, part of this system I was just talking about. When it comes to like climate change, that's the default of all defaults for these lefties. Whenever something's going weird, really weird, is climate change. When they lose in their argument, they go climate change.
Yeah, right.
And so that
they'll call you a fascist.
So what's your you got an article queued up there, William? What is that?
Oh, this, let me see here. What is it? Oh, I had it up earlier. I have. Oh, this is Zoran Mamdani losing support quite quickly, but it's too. So at least he's just a mayor of New York, not like the governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia, that CIA lady chick, has done so many things within like 24 hours of her entering into office. And knowing that she's going to do this, the first thing she did was disable any real way to find out if you're having a legitimate election, because she knows that she lied to all these people. And she knows, this is the governor of Virginia, that she's about to do some crazy ass shit. So the first thing she did was make it illegal to have hand counted ballots, to count ballots by hand, or to look into any kind of election stuff. It's totally illegal now. And I don't think you're even allowed to use ID up there anymore. So anyways, but this video is of Zoran Mamdani because it started out where, he gave this I'm only saying this because of how media portrays it, heartfelt speech to society, to his constituents in New York about affordability, what you deserve, and how I can make your life easy. The first thing he did was raise the prices of everything. And then his promises of housing got shot down because he has no power over that. It's illegal to rent cap. And he's pulling, for the longest time, he didn't have any black people working for him. And so he started being called racist by all the mainstream media. And so he found he found some of the DEI's black. He said, "Art, you want some black people working for me? Good." He went and picked some of the most low IQ individuals, not due to their skin color, but just because. And on top of that, one of the black people that he hired to run the prison system is an ex-felon, like major. He's like a high up criminal.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway,
Jeez,
so here's his constituents out in front of Mondami's little mansion thing here that he gets to stay in. With this, by the way, Mondami's wife ugly as shit. I don't give a damn what nobody says.
That's right. We know about your mom. Now listen.
We know about your mom. You know what he's talking about, right? Was her ties to Epstein and the.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he might be even Epstein's love child. Anyways.
That's right. We know about your mom. Now listen. We was with you, Zoran. We voted for you, Zoran. We advocated for you, Zoran. We advocated for you. You ain't getting up and get up in there and lie to us. You lied, Zoran. Shame, Zoran.
Shame. Shame.
The first lie was CCRB, Zoran.
Shame.
CCRB had the final say, Zoran.
Shame.
Small, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And you know what they did too is like we got to find a black guy, because if we don't, we're not gonna get any play at all. Because if it's a white guy out there, like, yeah, look at that racist dude out there berating a minority, more Zoran. So they got a black guy, which I mean, that's good, but just like when it came to Virginia, what's going on in New York. We told you so. I tried to tell these people. I tried to whenever Winsome Sears was running, she was a great candidate. She would have been perfect for Virginia. She would have led that state into prosperity. You watch and see what happens to Virginia with all the new taxes and the new bills that she's putting out, trying to make money as much as possible. Raised all of their pay like way up. Gave themselves some huge ass pay raises. Raised the taxes, added new taxes.
It's funny how they're basically going out and they say how they're going to make things free and all these, so that they get everybody to vote for them. But then the reality of what really can be done and what they can and can't do once they're in office hits, which Mondami's running into that right now. I mean, so it just blows me away that how people are so gullible that they believe that these people can come in and make these changes. It's just not going to happen, But it always goes up. It's always the question, it'd be nice to have this program, that program, but who's going to pay for it? See, Republicans or conservatives always ask that question, who's going to pay for it? Where the other side, Democrats, they don't care. Taxpayers will pay for it. We don't care. I mean, we're not paying for it personally. You guys aren't, So, but anyway.
At least right now, we're not. Last I heard, we're not giving all that money up to Minneapolis right now. That's kind of been halted. That's a lot of money. That was a lot of money. That amount of money just in Minneapolis alone actually probably accounts for a significant part of our inflation, because that money they grab that money up and then they take off and they'll get on an airplane with it unchecked. Imagine that. A bunch of Somalis who can't speak English have bazillions of dollars in duffel bags as they get on an airplane and nobody asks any questions. They just say, "Have a nice day." And they go, "Screw you, white person. We don't like you." And they go, "Thank you very much." And that is the craziest thing. And they take all that money and they go over there.
Change the subject here real quick. Tariffs. What's your take on tariffs and how they affect our actual economy on our side and on the consumer side? I know I've read a bunch about it. I have my opinion, but I just thought, I'll ask you to see what you think.
Well,
you asking me or William or who?
Either one of you.
Go ahead, John. I've been talking. Go ahead.
Well, real quickly, let's put it this way. With tariffs, there are 170 countries out there on this planet that are charging us tariffs. Now, if it weren't something that was viable, why would 170 countries be charging us tariffs?
Right. If
They're
tariffs
making a
don't
whole
work,
ton of money, a whole ton
yeah.
of money, and the advantage is going to those with the tariffs. It's exactly what I mean. You got to keep in mind too that Trump is a businessman. He's not a politician. He might be growing into a politician, but he's a businessman. And these tariffs, he's even made the statement: if we could get these tariffs put into certain particular categories, we could end up having no national debt at all. Think about that. No
Yeah,
taxes,
and
and no national debt.
I get that, and I agree with you there because the money's good, but it's the opposition that the things that we're being told that tariffs are bad and they're trying to stop them and it's unconstitutional and all these other ploys. But
they're
has
not
anybody
unconstitutional
ever
tariffs.
gone and looked at the actual percentages, the numbers, what the markups? And just real quick, I'm going to tell you, on a general rule of thumb, so remember this is spread over from electronics to high-end gadgets. So so you take the middle road. The average markup from China is anywhere from 200 to 500%, and that's after it leaves China. So where's that? Who's getting that money? The exporters and the importers. Because if you're receiving something and it's marked up 500%, then where it's come from, it's not hurting the manufacturers, the tariffs, because the exporters and the importers kind of almost split those costs. Like there's like 18% on one side, and the remainder 27% on the exporter, and then maybe the consumer gets charged 50% of that tariff. But that sounds like a lot. But then when you look at the actual cost, you're talking only 2 to 3% increase on the consumer side for us.
Yeah, but you also have
so what they're trying to say is, oh well, still because it's an up number, it's an uptick number. It's hurting the American public and the consumers. However, the amount of money it's bringing into our country through the tariffs is astronomical.
It's astronomical. Now, here's something else too. It's also bringing business back in there. I don't know if you guys have caught on to this yet or not, but Minnesota has been the latest recipient of losing. Have you guys heard the company Cargill? They are one of the largest companies in the world. They're over 150, I think 155 years old. They are moving all their business assets and everything from Minnesota to Texas. Now, I'll tell you how big they are. They are here, matter of fact, in the little village that I'm at. Most of this area, for thousands of acres around us, are the soy fields and the beef cattle that are owned by Cargill, which is an American company. They're huge, and they're moving. Like I think it's 4.6 billion. That's a guesstimate that their net assets per year, and that's being moved to Texas from Minnesota. So they're already feeling the pinch of there, and they've been there in Minnesota for 155 years. And here they just had a little parade just the other day, announcing that there's going to be extra benefits. They're bringing in some more of the new John Deere tractors for the soy fields, and I mean these are monster machines. So it's just wanted to add that in there.
Huh. Well, me being the ADD person I am while we're talking about tariffs. FBI, Metro Police, Radio Legal Biolab in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Huh, another one.
Those are popping up
One
again,
of many, by the way. Yeah, well, one was just right down the road from Andrew's house. That one in California. That was police officers like, hey, you can't have a water hose hooked to your faucet. And she's knocking on the door, and there's like bionic mice running around with COVID needles sticking out of them. And she's like, what the hell's going on in here? And what's funny about that place is the one in California near Andrew's house, there was an illegal Chinese national running the damn thing who had been run out of he'd been run out of Canada, down somewhere else in another place, and was back in that area, and he should have been arrested, but he'd never been arrested. And then he defected, and when it was raided by all the hazmat team, the FBI wouldn't even touch the damn thing because it was all involved with the Chinese nationalist people. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Andrew does. And so here we are in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Matter of fact, I
which
think
is
there
like,
was a cloud of that going over Andrew's house, and he had to replace his roof or something.
yeah, it burned his
Why he had to
sweatpants
replace
off.
his roof.
But the biolab in Vegas possibly linked to another illegal lab under investigation in Fresno, California. This is another one? Found deadly viruses, HIV, COVID, Ebola, and the TGP's Brian Lupo reported back. Okay, that's the same one in Fresno. But that wasn't it was. What was the name of that town, Andrew? What was it? It was three. Well, yeah. So, anyways, dude, wow. So the city and code enforcement stumbled upon this was the one in California, the garden hose we're talking about. Investigators inspected the building that contained the biolab in 2023. A suspected biological laboratory raided by Metro Police on the FBI may be connected to a similar incident in California. Trying to find out where talking about this. Sort of 6 a.m. Metro SWAT team served a warrant at the home of Sugar Springs Drive near Washington Avenue, Hollywood Boulevard, to search for a possible biological laboratory inside the home. A second location was also searched, but no lab was located. An LLC tied to the Holmes County records matched the name of the company that is part of an ongoing federal case in California involving biological laboratory there. In that case, the Chinese citizen faces federal charges for allegedly manufacturing and distributing misbranded medical devices, according to the federal prosecutors.
Misbranded? Oh, God.
So, like, instead of it being like what do you call it? Whatever they used to do the canonicals with, they're like, this is a spoon. So I don't know what's going on here, but apparently the lab they thought they went to go look for this lab and it was a home. Come to find out, it must be some kind of address used for maybe getting their Amazon or whatever. But that saga still goes on. Wow. Reedley, California. Yeah.
Reedley. Okay. He couldn't make up his mind. He called it Teedley and Reedy and it's Reedley with an L.
You know, what's going to be very, 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 very interesting is when you find out that these labs do tie into Fauci, allegedly. I guarantee you that. Because
I bet. Yes.
Yeah, they have to. He has to have them over here because they moved a lot of them out to keep from oversight being a thing. That was Obama's little thing. He was like, yeah, man, I'm going to do y'all a solid, United States people. We'll get these dangerous biological labs out and put them somewhere else. And everybody's like, yay, way to go, Obama. And then, what it really did was provide an open air buffer zone to shed from oversight, because now anybody that goes and checks these things are going to be somebody that's employed by it just won't be right. You can't watch these things real closely when they're in other countries. And so that lets you to be able to meddle, but you still need them over here, because once you get the materials over here, which might not be the case. I'm just assuming that you would want to be near a certain group of people to be able to tailor these things to certain DNA. But I could be wrong about that. But you still need them over here. That way you can really, and everybody, anybody, any doctor, any professional understands how things work. You never attenuate a virus to make it stronger unless you're working on biological weapons. That's it. There's no reason to do that otherwise.
Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah.
All you're doing is making biological weapons.
Looks like we're at the top of the hour, and I want to remind everybody, John's new channel, it's at the Swamp Channel. And you need to go over there if you haven't subscribed to him, help him get that channel going up and off the ground. What are we up to right now, John?
What, 21 subscribers?
21 subscribers. Okay. Well, let's see if we can break 30 by the end of the week.
Wow.
Wow. And how many did you have on the last channel before they finally just gave you the boot?
The last one, I think I was at 3,200.
Wow. And that took you a while to get even to that.
Yeah, that took me a while. Let's see. That was they've taken 4 channels from me. The highest I was at 32,000.
Wow.
What's Richard saying here?
He says there are. Let me scroll back down here. I can see it. It's there is a new virus showing up in India. Cannot remember the name of it, but it's said to have a 45 to 75% deadlier than COVID.
Oh, great. Great.
Bring in the
great.
HB1s, H1Bs. Bring them in. We need gas station attendants and more COVID.
Good Lord.
Didn't India and China become buddies? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we better get out of here. We've spent our time. We've gone our 5 minutes over. Appreciate everybody coming in. Andrew, Richard, We Need Peace.
Thank y'all for being here.
Who else did I miss? Dennis, Stump, and who
My beautiful
else?
wife was here.
Did I miss somebody?
Stephanie was in here too. Stephanie, thank you for being here. My beautiful wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. And we'll see you next time. Same time, same channel.